Would you personally investigate paranormal activity captured on your trail cam just to be sure it was real? One of the subscribers of this channel did, and he almost died. He ended up running into a beast that looked exactly like Bigfoot, and he has a picture to prove it. Could this be sufficient evidence of the existence of Bigfoot? From weird and unique-looking animals to scary and potential life-threatening Bigfoot sightings, stick around to the end. You'll be glad you did. Can the predator end up as prey? Many might laugh at this question, but not the fox in this trail cam video. The initial few seconds of this trail cam video seem like nothing noteworthy. I mean, there's nothing interesting about a deer grazing and minding its own business. At least, that's what the owner of the trail cam thought until a few seconds later. He noticed that the deer was no ordinary deer. It had little to no tolerance for coyotes and their shenanigans. Deers typically run off as soon as they hear the slightest noise, since they're typically not built for battle. But not this deer. It looks around and spots the fox. Everyone would expect the animal to try and get as far as possible. I mean, who knows if there were others? The deer, however, did the opposite. Instead of waiting to be attacked or fleeing from an attack, it chose to attack. It was going to be nobody's dinner. Fearing for its life, the fox took off, but the deer was not going to let it go that easily. It chased after it as well. We know a lot is changing in our world, but are the roles in nature being affected as well? Are the prey taking a stand against the predators? Should we be worried about our pets too? Will our dogs be attempting to walk us instead of us walking them? I don't know about you, but this sure is a cause for concern. Sometimes the midnight snack or drink just isn't worth it. Sometimes it can lead to your doom, especially when your neighborhood is as dangerous as that of this sow. As you can see, she stares at the alligator for a while, then walks away. The alligator might have been patiently waiting, thinking it had not been seen, but it was disappointed. But look closely. Some think there's more to it. Some think that there's a python wrapped around the gator. What do you see, and what do you think? Komodo dragons are creatures no one should cross. You could easily lose your life if you're found at its mercy. The same can be said for alligators and crocodiles. But what do you do when you're in the woods and see what looks like a hybrid between an alligator, crocodile, and Komodo dragon? Sounds far-fetched. This video from the Georgia Pines was captured by a hunter who came across this unusual-looking creature crawling through the woods. Realizing it was something he'd never seen, he quickly took out his camera and recorded it. As you can see, the huge animal looks like an alligator, but quite a big one. Also, there is this odd green-looking growth on its back. The hunter was awestruck, but he knew better. He knew getting close would be the unwisest and possibly the last thing he would ever do in his life. But what kind of creature was it? An alligator, a croc, a Komodo, or a mix of more than one? Could scientists be cloning and experimenting? We'll never know, we can only speculate. One thing is for sure, however, we're not ready for a real-life Jurassic World, at least not yet. Have you had that stubborn itch? I mean, that itch that doesn't seem to go away no matter how much you scratch. I know humans experience this often. I know animals experience this too. But nothing could have prepared the owner of this trail cam. One could almost say the tree was being abused by that bear. Have you ever seen a bear do that to a tree? See how the black bear is standing on its two hind legs with its back against the tree, making sideways motions. The scratches get faster and more aggressive each time. What if that tree was actually infested with ants, and scratching it was only getting him bitten more, making him scratch more? Or it could be that he was scent marking and doing it so aggressively because of how intense the scent of the last bear to use the place was. Well, we may never know, but I can't help but think, poor unfortunate thing. Still on bears, this next trail cam video captures a mother bear and her chubby, cute cubs. These bears are also rubbing their backs against the tree, although not as aggressively as our furry friend from the last video. Based on the motion of these bears, it's very evident and apparent that they're only scent marking their territory to keep intruders away. Looking at the video, you can see that one of the cubs is helping the mother bear, while the other is running around doing his own thing. It's not too hard to tell which the first child is and which the last child is. There's always that kid in the family. Looks like some things never change irrespective of the species. Now we'll dive into the stranger footage of this episode. This footage shows a two-headed deer roaming in Japan. We're aware of some human cultures keeping the skulls of their dead loved ones, but never did I ever think I would see a deer carrying around the skull of another. This normal-looking deer appears to have an extra head stuck in its antlers. This time, though, I don't think scientists have anything to do with this, seeing as the extra head is dead and not attached to the roaming deer, which leads me to believe that the deer was in an antler fight and won the match, taking its opponent's head as a war prize. That's brutal. This deer is probably a Viking. If you already thought that was strange, then you should definitely see this one. We have a group of dirt bikers riding through a grassland when all of a sudden they spot a small creature emerge from the trees, but then quickly runs off when it realizes the bikers are close. The first thing that came to mind when I saw this video was Dobby from Harry Potter. The footage was taken on the moving bike, so you can make out a clear image of the creature, but you can see it zoom off. Despite its size, it's very quick. The bikers chase the small creature until it takes a turn into the greenery. But what is that? A very little humanoid creature, golden brownish color, definitely running on two legs. Was it an alien? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. These days, the rate at which footage of humanoid hairy creatures is being captured is getting out of hand. They share a likeness between apes and humans and are mostly spotted at odd times in the woods. This time, however, our hairy neighbors were spotted in the woods in broad daylight carrying a chicken that it stole from someone's home or a farm. The creatures look so real that at this point, I don't think they're a myth anymore. I mean, why would anyone put in so much effort to steal a chicken and upload a 10-second video? It looks so real that the only explanation is that we're looking at the real thing. But what if it's not? Then it could be a gang of thieves on a chicken heist. They might have chosen to wear goofy costumes to avoid being identified. If that's the case, then their plan worked out perfectly. They get to walk away with the chicken, and we're here debating whether or not they're real. Stepping away from the heist, I have this very disturbing image that was sent to me by a user on this platform. He'd set up his trail cameras to capture wildlife. Occasionally, he captured something interesting, and has always thought of this as a science and an art. He scoffed at all who made claims on this platform that they'd seen something odd or paranormal on their trail cams, and had a strong dislike for such individuals. That was at least the case until he came across this capture from his trail cam. He would, however, not be shaken so easily. In fact, he assumed it was a joke and thought that someone was playing a prank on him. He kept seeing the creature pass by his trail cam multiple times at a particular point in time. He decided to go after the individuals responsible and visited the location where his trail cam was. He hid in the bushes, waiting for whoever was playing the prank to pass by. He was thinking he would hide until a beast-looking figure would walk by. He assumed it was someone in a costume and planned on tackling him to ask what the big idea was. But then the creature appeared, and he wasn't as confident anymore. At that moment, it became apparent to him that it was no man in the costume. It was an actual beast. But how? Why? There are no beasts that walked like humans. And it looked like it understood his fear and confusion. It even looked surprised, but not very interested in him. He couldn't move, or rather, he dared not move. After a few seconds, the creature walked away. Do you believe one of our viewers finally met Bigfoot? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section.